Good morning, everyone. I am Vimalata from Telangana Tribal Welfare Residential Degree College for Women, Khammam, and I am from the Department of Arts. I am pursuing my degree final year with BA branch. Today, I am here to take a class to all of you people, and my subject is political science. And today, my topic is Varnashrama Dharma. So, today, our topic is Varnashrama Dharma. Now we are going to discuss about Manu Dharma, the important laws of Manu, right? So Manu Dharma Shastra or Manusmriti means reflections of Manu consist of 2685 verses on the code of conduct on human society like dharma, religion, duty, law, right, justice, practice and principle that are to be followed in Indian society, though it is written 1800 years ago. So see here, the Manu Dharma Shastra has been written 1800 years ago and it has consist of 2685 verses in it. According to Manu, Dharma is that which is practiced by those who know the Vedas and the Shastras and are people without any bad quality like jealousy and passion. The Varna system mingled with four Dharma becomes the Varnashrama Dharma here. The first man and the legendary author of an Sanskrit law code, the Manusmriti, Laws of Manu. The name is cognate with the Indo-European man and also has an etymological connection with the Sanskrit verb man to think. Manu appears in the Vedas, the sacred literature of Hinduism, as the performer of the first sacrifice. He is also known as the first king, and most rulers of medieval India traced their genealogy back to him, either through his son, the solar line, or his son or his daughter, the lunar line. Here, the solar line is considered as the son of Manu, and the lunar line is considered as the daughter of Manu. Manu, the archetypal first man of Hindu mythology and survivor of the great flood and the father of human race. He is also the legendary author of one of the most famous codes of Hindu religious law, the Manusmriti, Laws of Manu. Manusmriti is known as Laws of Manu, right? Composed in Sanskrit and dating in its present form from the 1st century BC. So it is composed in Sanskrit language and it dates 1st century BC, right? Human society is inherently divided into four orders. The first order is the intelligent class, second is the material class, third is the productive class, and the fourth is the labor class. The emergence of these divisions has been touched upon by many scholars and different reasoning have been put up for the same. This project has been taken up to explore such various possible interpretations for the emergence of Varnashrama Dharma. Varnashrama Dharma is a Sanskrit name given to the divisional structure of the Indian society, right? So here the Varnashrama Dharma is written in Sanskrit language and it has given a divisional structure to the Indian society. When this order of society is intertwined with the four orders of life, and these four orders are also called as ashramas, and those are brahmacharya or the student life. Here brahmacharya consists of student life, and the second one is gruhastha. Gruhastha is also known as householder's life, and the third one is vanaprastha. Vanaprastha is also called as retired life, and the last one, the fourth one is sannyasa, or this is also called as the devotional life. It gives rise to the Varnashrama Dharma. Literally, Varna means color and originates from the word Vri. The spelling is VRI, meaning the choice of one's occupation. Here, the meaning of Vri is choice of one's occupation. Hence, Varna is concerned with one's color or occupation. Caste or Jati originates from the root word Jana, which implies taking birth. Here, the word Jana implies taking birth. Thus, caste is concerned with birth. Manusmriti is a unique amongst Dharma Shastras as it presents itself like a holy text, right? A Purana beginning with the origin of the world, the origin of the four communities, means communities are also known as Varna. The law for the four communities, managing adversities, transgressions, and finally the two great conclusions of human life. The Aryans organized among themselves into three groups, namely Rajayana, later changed to Kshatriyas. So Rajayana is later changed as Kshatriyas, Brahmins and the Vaishyas. So the Aryans organized themselves into three classes and those are called as Kshatriyas, Brahmins and Vaishyas. So here Kshatriyas was defined as Siyate or Trayate iti Kshatriya. These were the people who protected the society against external attacks and maintained internal order. The Varna system is a social satisfaction based on the Varna or caste. Four basic categories are defined under this system are Brahmins, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas and Shudras. So see here, Brahmins are also called as priests, teachers, intellectuals. And Kshatriyas are also called as warriors, kings, administrators. And Vaishyas are also called as agriculturalists, traders, farmers. And the Shudras are also called as workers, laborers and artisans, right? So just now we discussed that there are four Varnas and those are Brahmins, Kshatriyas, Vaishyas and Shudras. So Brahmins are the literate and Kshatriyas the warriors, Vaishyas the traders and Shudras the unskilled. Vedic astrology states that the Brahmins are the most superior in the social hierarchy and Shudras the most inferior. So see here, Brahmins are considered as the most superior social hierarchy in the society and the Shudras are the most inferior in the society among the fourfold caste system. This caste system is also based on spiritual. The laws of Manu. The date of publication uncertain but believed to be about 200 BC was a hybrid moral religious law code and one of the first written law codes of Asia. Laws of Manu is one of the most and one of the first written law codes of Asia. In spite of its age, it has sustained paramountcy in the Hindu culture also. It was also the code of conduct for intercaste relationships in India. So is it clear? Now we are going to discuss actually what is dharma. What is dharma actually? What is the meaning of dharma? Is we are going to discuss now, right? So here what is dharma? Dharma, it comes from the Sanskrit dri. So the spelling is DHRI, dri. So it means to support, hold up or bear. Here, that which supports, maintains, nourishes, harmonizes, brings together and unites the inert and the sentient, the individual and the society, nation and the world is dharma. The word means many things, but according to Eknath Easwaran, dharma implies support from within, the essence of a thing, its virtue, that which makes it what it is. On a larger scale, dharma means the essential order of things and integrity and harmony in the universe and the affairs of life that cannot be disturbed without quoting chores, right? Thus it means rightness, justice, goodness, purpose rather than chance. So this is the meaning of dharma. Here the Hindu society divided into two coordinated systems of social organization. Whole human life divided into four stages and these four stages are also called as four ashramas. Whole society divided into four varnas. Ashrama dharma to regulate individuals' social right. So here to organize and management of individual and society, right? These two schemes together called Varnashrama Vyavastha or Varnashrama Dharma. The Purusharthas are guiding principles for the functioning of Varnashrama Dharma. So here the four ashramas, the four Purusharthas are often discussed in the context of four ashramas or four stages of life and those are called as Brahmacharya, Gruhastha, Vanaprastha and Sannyasa. Here, Brahmacharya is also called as student and Gruhastha is called as householder, Vanaprastha is called as retirement and Sannyasa is called as renunciation. So these are the four ashramas. Here human life divided into four stages or four ashramas: Brahmacharya, Gruhastha, Vanaprastha and Sannyasa, which we discussed it in the above slide. And every stage has its own duties and functions. So every stage contains different kinds of duties and functions. Each ashrama a stage of life. So each ashrama contains a stage of life. The individual trained for a period qualifies himself for the next ashrama. So the individuals qualifies themselves for the next ashrama. In his journey, he takes rest in each ashrama to prepare for future journey. So each ashrama, the person has to take rest for the preparation of future journey. Each individual should pass through four stages or phases of life. So every individual has to pass through four stages or four phases of life. So now shall we discuss a simple discussion about the first ashrama, Brahmacharya. Here the first stage or ashrama is Brahmacharya. This stage is meant for knowledge, developing, discipline, molding character. So the first stage helps for what are the things are there? Knowledge, developing, discipline and molding character. The stage starts with initiation ceremony, Upanyanam. This is known as conducting nearer to bring the individual nearer to life purposes. These are called as Purusharthas. It also brings nearer to teacher, Guru. It marks second birth into a higher life. They wear the sacred thread, Yagnopavita or Dvija or twice burn. So this is the first ashrama which is called as Brahmacharya. It is also known as student life. So observe the slide here. Our topic is related to this the social body. The social body and its components like linked to the human form. So see here the social body, it is related to the human body, right? So see here the first one is vision. It implies thinking, listening and advising, right? And the second one is protecting. It implies fighting and administrating. And the third one is nourishing. It implies producing. And the fourth one is supporting. It implies transportations, right? So here the society is compared to a body with the Brahmanas as the head and Kshatriyas as the arms, Vaishyas as the belly or thighs and the Shudras as the legs. So observe the slide here. The social functions are determined according to this analogy. And here for example the Brahmanas are the eyes and mouth of society. They provide a spiritual vision for society and teach people accordingly. Just as the arms are raised to defend the body, the Kshatriyas' main duty is to protect society. The Vaishyas' main duty is material nourishment and the Shudra supports all other sections of the society. There are sometimes related to the same metaphor the successive stages of student life, household life, retirement and renunciation represented by the legs, belly, arms and head respectively. So observe the slide here. This is it's like a table. Here the first class is Brahmins and the second class is Kshatriyas and the third class is Vaishyas and the fourth class is Shudras, which we are discussed just now. So here these fourfold caste systems are called as non-Aryans. Brahmins are also called as priests. Kshatriyas are also known as warriors and Vaishyas are also known as herders, farmers, merchants, craftspeople and Shudras are also called as farm workers, servants and laborers. Clear? So see the slide here. Here we are going to discuss what is Varnashrama Dharma is. So here Varna means caste Ashrama means station of life. Dharma means justice or duty. Here Varna Dharma or caste duty. There is a dharma appropriate to each class. So each class contains one compulsory dharma and that is appropriate to that class only. Hierarchy of classes, each with its separate duties. So each class having separate duties and functions of it as well. So observe the slide here, as we also discussed it. Brahmins are the priests and as well as academics. Kshatriyas are warriors and kings. Vaishyas are merchants and landowners. Shudras are commoners and peasants as well as servants. Now we have to discuss the Brahmanical view on the fourfold caste system. So the fourfold caste system contains four classes, as we just discussed just now, and now we are going to discuss the Brahmanical view on these fourfold caste. So see here, according to Brahmanical view, Purusha Sukta, a late hymen which is not considered as valid for the bulk of the Rig Veda. Purusha Sukta is one of the late hymen and it is not considered as a valid for the bulk of Rig Veda. The Brahma created a fourfoldness of society. So here Brahma created fourfoldness of society, and which we are discussed the four classes in our class. Manu states the purpose of the creator, thus for the sake of the preserving the universe. Brahma the creator. So here Brahma is the creator of fourfold caste system. Devoted separate duties to those who created respectively from his body. So Brahma created fourfold caste system from his body only, means by showing his body parts he has created fourfold caste system and devoted separate duties to each class. Since Brahmana originated from the most excellent part, since he was the firstborn and since he possesses the Veda, he is by right the chief of the whole creation. So here Brahmana is the first caste among the fourfold caste system, right? So here Brahmana is originated from the most excellent part from the body of Brahma, and Brahmanas possesses Vedas, and by chief they have the right to the whole creation of the society. So this is the Brahmanical view on the fourfold caste system of society created by Brahma. So see here, the four varnas were born from different part of the Sampurusha indicates that interdependence of varnas. So each varna is interdependent on each other, but each class contains different kinds of duties or functions. So see here in the slide, Brahmana contains directions and control to the society, and Kshatriyas contain strength. Vaishyas and Shudras bear the weight of the entire frame and economic support of the society. So see here, Brahmanas are the most excellent and the superlative hierarchy of the society, means they have to give only directions and they have to control the society. So that is only the work of Brahmanas and they are treated as a first class in the society. And the second one is Kshatriyas. So Kshatriyas consumed of strength, so they will work on administrating. They comes under warriors. And Vaishyas and Shudras are treated as the very low class system in the society, and they have to bear the weight of the entire frame and economic support of the society here. So Vaishyas and Shudras are treated as the low communities, and later the fourth class Shudras is treated as the servants of the society because they have to serve the whole society contains Brahmanas, Kshatriyas and Vaishyas. Shudras has to serve to the society and they are treated as very least in the society. So observe the slide here. The Brahmins are the priests, scholars and teachers. The Kshatriyas are the rulers, warriors and administrators. And the Vaishyas are agriculturalists and merchants. And Shudras are laborers and service providers. So now we are also discussed that Shudras are treated as the laborers and servants to the whole society. So it is clear here, Shudras are called as laborers and service providers. So here first of all we are going to discuss about Brahmins. So here Brahmanas are the priests, teachers and intellectuals also. So here the Brahmanas provide education and the spiritual leadership. They determine the vision and values of any society. Traditionally, their basic needs were fulfilled so that they could dedicate themselves to their spiritual tasks. They are expected to live very frugally. So here the Brahmins contains some of the duties and those are called as to study and teach the Vedas, to perform sacrifice and religious ceremonies and teach others how to perform such rituals, to accept alms and also give in charity, to offer guidance especially to the Kshatriyas, to provide medical care and general advice free of charge. To know Brahman means spirit, the self and God. To never accept paid employment. To develop all ideal qualities, especially honesty, integrity, cleanliness, purity, austerity, knowledge and wisdom. So this is about the duties and functions of Brahmanas and what is Brahmans are. And next we are going to discuss about Kshatriyas. So Kshatriyas are rulers, warriors and administrators of the society. So here warriors, police and administrators are called as Kshatriyas in the society. The Kshatriyas are the nobility, the protectors of society. Here, though permitted a number of privileges, they are expected to display considerable strength of body and character. Here the Kshatriyas also contains some of the duties or functions which are indulged to them. Okay, so see here, to protect the citizens from harm, especially women, children, cows, Brahmanas and the elderly. To ensure that the citizens perform their prescribed duties and advance spirituality. To be the first into battle and to never flee the battlefield here. And to be true to their loyal word. To never refuse a challenge, to develop noble qualities such as power, chivalry and generosity, to levy taxes from the Vaishyas only. They have to levy taxes from Vaishyas only and to never accept charity under any circumstances, to control counsel especially from the Brahmanas. So they have to control the counsel especially from Brahmanas. To know the scriptures, especially the Ardhashastras. So especially they have to know the scriptures about Ardhashastras, to deal uncompromisingly with crime and lawlessness, to take responsibility for shortcomings in their kingdom. So this is about Kshatriyas. So these are the duties or functions of the Kshatriyas which are done by them. So now we are going to discuss about Vaishyas, right? So Vaishyas are farmers, merchants and business people. The Vaishyas are the producive, means the productive class. They and the two Varnas below are called twice born, indicating that they accept the sacred thread, symbolizing spiritual initiation, and here and must perform certain rituals and rites of passage. As well as Vaishyas also contains several duties and functions which done by them, and those are to protect animals, especially cows and the land. So the Vaishyas has to protect the land and animals. In animals, especially they have to protect the cows. To create wealth and prosperity in the society, to maintain workers with abundant food, clothes, etc. To trade ethically, to give taxes to the Kshatriyas, ruling class. So here Kshatriyas are the warriors and administrators. So the Kshatriyas is the ruling class here. So the Vaishyas has to give taxes to the Kshatriyas, which is called as the ruling class. So this is about the Vaishyas. Now we are going to discuss about the last class, which is called as Shudras. Shudras are also called as laborers and service providers, right? So Shudras are also called as artisans and workers. Here, the Shudras are the only section of society allowed to accept another's employment. Others varnas are occupationally and financially self-sufficient. So here Shudras is the very least class in the society, which we are discussed in our class. So here they have to accept another's employment for the sake of their life. So here the Shudras also consumes several duties or functions which are done by the Shudras, and those are to render service to others. So they have to serve to other classes, to take pride in their work, and to be loyal. They have to be loyal in their work also. To follow general moral principles, for example, not to steal. So the general moral principles are also followed by Shudras. To marry, the only compulsory rite of the passage. So here marriage is the only compulsory rite of Shudras, and they are treated as the very least class in the society, and those are the servants and laborers which are working in the society to the above three classes. So dharma is like life, cannot have changing alternatives with time. Approach to uphold or reach the same may change from person to person. Dharma is the medium that leads to one to self, right? To self-realization through performance of one action. Yoga is an essential component and medium to realize one's dharma. Inability to see things in the right light can lead one to wrong ideas as well as adharma. Perfection and nurturance have to go hand in hand. Neither can be sacrificed at the cost of other. So this is like dharma, and dharma is like life. So the Varna system mingled with the four ashramas of one's life on the path of dharma becomes Varnashrama Dharma. In Hindu society, this dharma was divided into four different groups of people who pursued four different dharmas in their life to attain the ultimate goal of their life, and that is realization of God. So in order to bring out the meaning of the word Varnashrama Dharma, developing deeper to bring out the meaning of the fragments is required. According to Manu, dharma is that which is practiced by those who know the Vedas and the Shastras, and are people without any bad quality like jealousy and passion, which we discussed in our class. It includes practices recognized by the mind as correct. Varna is the organized division of the human society into four blocks depending upon the occupation which one pursues, and ashramas are the four stages in a person's life, that is celibacy, family life, semi-saintly life, and life after renunciation. The Varna system mingled with the four ashramas of one's life on the path of dharma becomes the Varnashrama Dharma. The first reference to the Varnashrama system is made in Purusha Sukta verses of the Rig Veda in the book 10, Hyman 90, where the different sections of the society are regarded as the limbs of the great self. When objectively viewed, these varnas were sophisticated organization of the society that intelligently divided the population into different groups that would help the society function smoothly. So it helps for the function of the society smoothly. Another property of the Varna system was that what may be desirable for one section of the society could be degrading for another. For example, absolute non-violence, which includes refraining from animal sacrifice, is considered unworthy of a Kshatriya. Underlying all these differences is the one common goal of advancing in spiritual life based on Sanatana Dharma, right? The Varna system is also contains the theoretical interpretations also. The origin of the Varnashrama Dharma is staged by two theories. One is the Brahmanical view and the other is the Western view. The Western view mainly focuses on the existence of this organization in the Aryan society. It is believed that the Aryans brought this sophistication into Indian land, which was subsequently adopted by other tribes of that time. At that time, the Dashyus were the original inhabitants of India, who are said to be the ancestors of the Shudras. When the Aryans conquered India, they suppressed and enslaved the Dashyus, who were dark in color. Varna also means color. So it was also proposed that the division was also based on the color of one's skin, but then vision existed even among the fairer group. History suggests that there was always a rift between the Aryans and the Dashyus and between their religious observances, and that might be the reason for the exclusion of the Shudras from the religious rites of Vedic type. Clear? The Rigvedic society was mostly composed of pastoral lands and cattle were considered to be the wealth. War was a means of livelihood. The chief income of the king used to come from the spoils of war. The priest also used to take a substantial share from it. In the latter Vedic period, the society got fragmented from a tribal setup to kind of occupational segregation in which the intellectual class started asserting its power over the serving class subsequently. The other theory is Brahmanical view, which supports the divine's action. The Brahmanical view is briefly discussed by us. So here the Purusha Sukta in Rigveda mentions the Purusha, who is a world spirit who has produced the Brahmana from his mouth, the Kshatriya from his arms, and the Vaishyas from his thighs. The Shudra is said to have sprung from his feet. Manu states the reason of such creation of different groups as, for the sake of preserving the universe, the being devoted separate duties to those who sprang respectively from his mouth, his arms, his thighs, and his feet. Right? So here, but it has always been meant to be gunakarma, that is quality work, rather than body-based restricted scope and work each of the four groups, that is Varnakarma, backing the divine origin theory. Gita says that the order is created on the basis of quality work. This fourfold division was not meant to be a rigid compartment of fixed occupations, and it is quite clear when Gita says Tasya Kartaramapi. So here, according to the divine origin theory, the organization of this fourfold division was to serve the society, but with the coming of Kali Yuga, this division, which was flexible before, became rigid due to the formation of many subcastes, and with one sect at loggerheads with the other. Sticking to one's own caste became the norm. The Marxist theory gives another interpretation to this division and bases the Varna system on class division. So this is about Varnashrama Dharma. The Varnashrama Dharma is often confused to be the same as the caste system inhibed in the Indian society. The Varnashrama is a natural organized division of the society which would lead to a content society that would be interdependent on each other. The purpose of the Varnashrama social system is to provide a structure allowing people to work according to their natural tendencies and to organize society so that everyone, regardless of their position, makes spiritual advancement, etc. This philosophy says that people can only work together with a cooperative spirit if there is a central point of focus. It is different from the caste system in a way that it has not got a hint of racial prejudices, right? So the four major varnas were formed due to societal segregation for various reasons, but it has eventually taken a rigid form. but it has eventually taken a rigid form. The contribution from various scholars in transformation of this system has led to a different picture that exists in today's time, right? The division of society has existed in all times and will keep on existing in some rather form, if not in this form, right? So this is about Varnashrama Dharma. So now this is the concluding session of my class on Varnashrama Dharma. So the extensive explanation provided gives an insight that Manusmriti is a comprehensive social code, serves as an authoritarian guide for jurisprudence of humanity for a long time in Indian social history, having contemporary relevance. It is next only to Vedas, from which it derives its authority. Thank you one and all. Thanks for everyone. Thanks to my guiding lecturer Navya ma'am. Thank you one and all.